Oh man, I was amazed. Obviously, we knew all throughout OTAs that they've been building this new locker room and putting a lot of work into it. But I mean, this is completely different than obviously the room we were in before, and it's very cool. So very high tech. Everything's very nice in here. So we're definitely blessed being here.
Did you have any idea what it was going to look like or what the concept was going to be? No.
No idea. They did a pretty good job keeping it under wraps and not really letting us in here, letting us see what was going to happen. So I think that was all part of the surprise, though, that they wanted us to, all walk in together and see it for the first time. But I mean, it's beautiful.
You get to pick your locker location?
No, we didn't get to pick our locker location, but they did a good job keeping, me and Isaiah right next to each other, kind of keeping us in the same area. But no, we did not.
Does that stuff matter? I mean, Malik's near you, but the defensive player between you, special teams guys over here. Does that matter to kind of intermix the guys in the locker room?
Definitely. I think they've always done a good job of trying to intermingle guys, and especially offense, defense. We do so much where you're in meetings with offense and guys and defense is separate, so you don't get all that time to be together. So I think being in the locker room, being able to intermingle is always huge. I think me and Zay being together, I mean, been together since he got here, so I think that was really important for us, and I'm glad we're still together.
Jordan, what are your thoughts on Zack Tom's extension and just kind of maintaining that continuity in the goal line?
It's awesome. I'm very happy for him. I think he's very deserving of that. I think he's been a guy he's balled out since he's got here. Really came in, made a name for himself at that right tackle position, and like I said, just balled. So he's a guy that he's very humble, keeps his head down, just comes in ready to work. Always about the right stuff. So I think no one more deserving. So I'm happy for him.
You'll have a new center this season. I was wondering, how much time do you need with Elton this training camp or this preseason to feel comfortable with him for the start of the season?
Yeah, that's one of those things where that center quarterback exchange, you got to get a lot of reps in, a lot of work with guys, especially when it's somebody new. But Elton's been a guy who's been around. We've got a lot of reps with him at center with different things that have happened, him moving around and just getting snaps in general. So, once he gets back from injury, it'll be great to have him back out there because it's one of those things you want to be feeling as comfortable as possible and get as many banked reps in with our relationship, make sure there's no issues with snaps, no balls on the ground, things like that. So definitely be nice to get him back out there.
Jordan, when it was Josh at center, how much time do you feel like it took for you guys to kind of get on that same level with each other?
Not long at all. I think me and Josh got a lot of reps when he first got here, and then once he started taking over and getting that starting role, it was one of those things where even when A-Rod was here and he was injured during some times, I would get a lot of reps with Josh at practice. So I think Josh was just had a real good feel for playing the position, how to snap the ball, and it just felt comfortable with him. So I don't think it was hard at all with Josh. It was one of those things that just flowed. But it's one of those things that every time it's somebody different, the ball just kind of comes back different ways, especially shotgun snaps. So it's one of those things that we practice every day with the quarterback center exchange and getting snaps with a bunch of different guys, anybody that you might be in there with in practice, because practice they roll through and a lot of guys rotate in. So you just want to have a nice feel for what it feels like for different guys, make sure the consistency is there. So like I said, Josh was a pro. It was easy when he was in there.
A lot of us circled day one of training camp. It's a big day. It's a milepost for us. You guys have been here. You've been here the last few days. How do you guys take day one of training camp?
Oh, it's still a big day, especially for the guys that have been here that reported early, which we had a lot of guys that reported early this year. But I think day one is still, everybody gets back and, first couple days back in the building, that excitement and all that energy is there. Everybody's, we ain't been on the field together for about a month. So it's just exciting. You get the fans out there, obviously you guys all out there. So there's just a lot of energy and excitement, I feel like, for day one. So it's fun to go out there, kind of get those little nerves out, and just get back to ball and, have that mindset where the goals we're focusing on to get better every day. But, you get the bike tradition going. It's just a lot of things that we miss out on in OTAs that aren't the same. So it's a lot of excitement for day one.
Jordan, Goody was talking to us earlier about how this team's had a lot of regular season success over the last 6 or 7 years, but that it might be time to take the next step. What has to happen for you guys to do that? I know Matt talked about you can't skip any steps along the way, but where do you think this team, what's next for it?
No, it's definitely time. I mean, ever since I've been here, like you said, we've been a team that's done well in the regular season. I think that's a standard here. You know, we got to go win those games, and a big emphasis on the NFC North. And we've done a great job of that in the past. I think obviously last year was our worst year at that in the NFC North. So it starts there. You know, it starts with going out there winning those games against the NFC North teams. But I think, obviously building upon that, once you get to that postseason, that's the games that matter. So for us to take that next step, it's all about the work we're putting in every day, but I think just consistency. We've had a lot of games where we've had some high moments, we've had some low moments. So just trying to be as smooth as possible, as consistent as possible, and keep building, as the season goes on, and be at our best when that postseason rolls around, and obviously try and be the healthiest team as possible. But there's a lot of things. I think it starts with just taking it one day at a time. When the regular season gets here, taking it 1 week at a time. But obviously starting in the NFC North, handling the division. And once playoff games get here, putting everything into it, having that focus that, when these games get here, there's no second chances, there's no do-overs. Every play that, we haven't hit on in those playoff games before, we got to make those teams pay and be able to capitalize. So I think it just starts with that consistency. But we're definitely primed to take that next step. That's the focus and the goal that we talk about every day.